As a small cargo ship built out of cypress wood is coming in at 1.2 million kilograms or 2.65 million pounds of weight and would float pretty nicely in seawater. The study found it would only be dipping into water by 0.34 meters or 1.1 feet.
But we're not launching this vessel into the local boating lake. We need it to do a little more than just float. We need this to be truly seaworthy and withstand the largest flood the Earth has ever known. This is where biblical science starts to fall down.
A wooden vessel of this size in a biblical flood would come up against some critical structural issues when at sea. Large could even break in half. You see, a smaller boat would comfortably float along the waves, over the crests and into the troughs. A vessel the size of Noah's Ark would instead suffer substantial strain as it crossed the waves, causing massive amounts of sagging and hogging, which would lead to structural failures in the middle portion of the ark at the top and bottom alternately, as it travelled across the crest and trough of the waves. Structural failures like this even occur in large modern ships.
Noah's biggest design problem is that he is limited by the size of available trees.
Wood is a great material to build boats from. It's strong and light. However, without modern glues and steel plates, it's not possible for Noah to join all his beams together to create a single super beam strong enough to support the hull. Once he goes longer than an available trunk, he needs to build a giant wooden scaffold inside the boat to keep it from collapsing under the water pressure. Even then, wood isn't the stiffest material, so a well-reinforced biblical super yacht is going to bend like a banana in a big storm. The reasoning behind this is why the largest wooden ship ever constructed, the Wyoming in 1909, was only 2/3 the size of Noah's Ark. And even at this size, the Wyoming flexed and twisted, opening up seams in its hull, causing leaks that required pumps to keep the hold only relatively free of water. Despite these measures, it still eventually filled with water and sank in 1924. Subsequent wooden ships were reinforced with steel to ensure their seaworthiness. It's been suggested that Noah could have instead built a flotilla of smaller boats, which he could attach to one another with ropes and gangplanks. Then his fleet could move independently of each other and go with the flow of the waves, rather than resisting them.
If Noah didn't have his naval engineering degree, he could always try just tying as many tree trunks together as possible and creating a giant raft. Cypress wood is about half the weight of water, so a fully submerged cubic meter of wood has enough buoyancy to support half a ton of animals.
But let's say the floods weren't at all like the scenes from the Aronofsky film. And let's instead say that the planned flood meant that the water levels would slowly rise, delicately lifting the ark from the ground and then gently floating around in calm waters for the next few months. More of a serene cruise, shall we say. All we have to do now is load up all the species before the end game. But what kind of cargo capacity would the ark have without overloading it and sending the future of all life plunging into the ocean depths? For this, we need to know the